Hi, everybody. Today I want to share something which is commonly found in the Divine Feminine Collective. And this is a very, very important core wound that exists. And I would urge you all to look into this if this resonates with you. And even if it is something you don't think you have, still question it and go within and go deeper into this just to be sure, because this is incredibly important to have the masculine polarity come back into your life. And this wounding has to do with receiving love. So many divine feminines tend to overgive love and overdo things in situations. For instance, many divine feminines think that they have to be able to love their twin flame and they are the ones who have to give to their twin flame. You would see in all situations, divine feminines want to step up to the plate. When it comes to a twin flame relationship, especially, maybe you have spent more money on your twin. Many of you may have done more things for your twin, moved mountains to go and see them, and repeatedly made the effort. And you just feel like, I like this person so much that I will do everything. You just sit back and relax. Let me handle everything for you. All right. And if you have experienced this, then especially you need to look at how you do this in other situations also. Because sometimes giving more is basically a symptom of trying to control a situation. So this goes a little deeper. How does this go a little deeper? One feels safe that if they give instead of receiving something, then they have more control over it. What is this control? It's not a control over the other person, but it is a control over a situation. Now, let us say if you receive something from someone, let us say you receive money from somebody, okay, or you receive love from somebody, you depend on someone to love you. And what that means for you is that when you are receiving love from someone, it now makes you beholden to that person in some way. Many of you can feel that way, that now I am beholden to this person. I'm obligated to do something for them because they gave me this love, or they did this thing for me, they paid for my lunch, or this person, gave me a compliment. So I immediately have to compliment them back, or they dropped me home, so I have to do something for them and drop them home next time. Or this one time, they did so many things for me, so I have to do all of these things for them. This creates a massive block, that receiving is so difficult that I would rather be the giver. So in majority of your situations, you are the giver. Whether it is giving love, it is giving money, it is giving support. And as a feminine energy, this is counterintuitive to your natural energy, which is of receiving. Feminine is a yin energy, which is an empty energy, which is a nothing energy. And what is nothing and what is empty? What is empty can only receive, right? Like we always use the example of the empty cup from Taoism. So we always say this is the empty cup. And now because the cup is empty, it can receive love. The masculine energy is the giver of of this dynamic, and you are the receiver. If you can't hold space through receiving, then union becomes difficult, because this is just a game of polarities and nothing else. Always remember that it's always just about polarities, and that is the deeper wisdom and the higher wisdom of this journey, and everything else is just a manifestation of unhealed polarities, or imbalanced polarities rather, and disintegrated parts of ourselves that through inner work we bring back, and through self love we heal, and we merge those parts back into ourselves, which became unaligned with how we operated and everything, which shows up as like the wounds that keep coming up, the triggers that keep coming up. So basically, what you are trying to do is you have to go and heal this block of receiving. You have to look at the fear of receiving love. This can come from childhood. If you had, a mother wound, for instance, where you did not connect emotionally with your mother, or if your parents were indifferent to you in some ways, there is a lot of research in psychology now about neglect, and how neglect can sometimes not show up in the physical way. Like you could have had everything while growing up as a child. Physically, you went to a good school and You had food at home, and you had everything you needed. You had the stationery, you had tuitions if you wanted tuitions, and you had all that, whatever you needed for school was provided to you 100%. But emotionally, maybe you were not looked at. Emotionally, your emotions were not understood. You were not attentively, you were not really seen. you know Maybe there were subliminal messages that were happening around you, which made you feel unworthy, or that made you feel that you deserve less, or somebody else is more worthy, somebody else is more special. How does this manifest in us? This goes within us, and that makes us feel that I don't deserve love. And in situations where somebody does something for me, that can also come from your childhood, that you could have had repeat experiences of somebody loving you a lot, but then expecting something from you. So, loving you in a needy way. You could have a needy parent, who loved you, but then you felt enmeshed in how that interaction went. So, it could be, that somebody did something for you, but then they expected something from you in return. Like maybe they brought you toys when you were a child, and you felt really happy and excited for a few moments. But then there came a condition which was attached to that now I have got you this, so now you have to really come first in class, or you have to do really well in your studies. So now you have this, now go and just study really hard. This may seem very simple, and maybe many parents are still doing this to their children. But the point is, it can leave a subliminal message to the child that nothing that comes to me is what I just deserve. Just for the sake of it, I have to do something. And this is still an innocuous example, but a worse example can be that somebody gives you a toy or something, and then they expect you to spend time with them. They expect you to reciprocate their love. Maybe a grandparent did this with you, that they brought you a lot of things that you liked and everything, and then they expected you to spend a lot of time with them and appreciate them, and be in their company. And maybe as a child you wanted to be out and about, and not spend so much time with your grandparent, right? You see the innocence involved in both situations. When we are speaking of this, we are not trying to blame the grandparent or the parent, right? I mean, I hope that is very clear, because you have to see that everybody is wounded. Everybody who has come to the planet is wounded. And they have come here, unless they are realized beings, they have come here with an ego. And what does that ego do? The ego always has wounds. The nature of the ego is to be wounded, right? So it's not your grandparents' fault. Grandparents get lonely, and they love their children, and they grandchildren, they just feel like it's a breath of fresh air, where they also don't have the direct responsibility like they did when they were younger and they had their own children. Now they dote more on the grandchildren. I've always been very, very close to my maternal grandparents. They both passed away. And this was the closest bond I ever had in my life, was with my grandmother and with my grandfather also when I was a child. So it's not with any kind of a bad, blame game that we are playing when we are understanding this. But with maturity, we understand that everyone has wounding. Everybody needs your love. Everybody needs your approval. Everybody needs your support. Everybody, needs. Everybody needs to be acknowledged, to be valued, to feel respected. And many times people don't feel that way. So then these obligatory contracts come into place, where we try to get it from someone else because we've not received it as a child. So this could have, been a factor which could have led you into, now because you're healing, this is why this is important for you, that this could have led you into having a receiving block. If I receive love, I have to do something immediately. Especially women on this journey will feel this, that women especially have a problem with receiving love. They have a problem with receiving pleasure as well. And, they have a problem with receiving anything, any kind of a gift. For instance, I remember if somebody would pay for dinner for me, I would immediately it would just be such a big thing for me. I would, be paying them 50% back, even if they say, no, it's on me. Or I would then remember it the next time I met them 3 months later, then I'm supposed to pay for coffee because the last time they got coffee. It used to be such a thing for me, because receiving block. Once in a while you can receive a cup of coffee from someone. It's not the end of the world, if somebody pays, if they want to pay, that is. right? And at the same time, we are conscious and aware of not hurting others also, and not overstepping our bounds or overstepping in our expectations from others, but also being open to receiving, right? So receiving compliments can be one thing. The moment somebody compliments you, you immediately think, I have to find something that I should compliment in them. Like this used to happen to me. If somebody says, oh, you look really nice, I like your smile, or I like this, or I like that, I would immediately just be like, what am I supposed to compliment in this person? So immediately I will try to look and I will try to say, thank you, I really like your earrings, oh, I really like what you're wearing, oh, you look so good yourself. Immediately the response will be, oh, they just said this before I would even receive it. Immediately try to find something in them, right? But I completely stopped doing that. When you heal this block and you go into self-love and you're okay with, receiving, you're okay to just not compliment somebody back. Somebody could have noticed me and I could have completely not noticed them. And I allow that to be the situation. And in that moment, I can notice them and I can, receive their love and their warmth or their compliments, and I can just feel good and grateful about it, right? And this is a very important thing. Like I say, in your journey, you are the cup and you are the receiver. The feminine energy, the feminine polarity has to be able to receive, because only then, she can hold the masculine energy. All right. And this is energetic. This doesn't have anything to do with gender. So always take, the she as a representation of the feminine energy. All right. So look within. How do you start to handle it? If any of these patterns that are described made any sense to you, then definitely explore it within. You can write about it, you can journal it, you can try to see how this has operated, you can do some shadow, work here, and go within and ask yourself, how do I feel about receiving? So when you just simply do this, you can start to see what comes up for you, and you can start to maybe note it down. You can, like I said, just see where it is coming from, if you can go into the source of it. And if you want to definitely heal it, then you can also book a one-on-one session with me and specifically make a notation that you do want to heal this. So we can work on this block together as well, all right? Through different exercises, And if you feel guided to book a one-on-one session, my email address is imacompletelife@gmail.com. You can write to me. It's a 3-part session where, first of all, I like to have some background about, your childhood and, your relationship with your parents, etc. What this does is, it helps me have a context for the one-on-one session that we have, the video call session, which is about like for 90 minutes. And it helps me to just make sense of it, see how everything is connected for you and point it out to you as well, where certain blocks may be coming from. We obviously have a conversation around it, and we also learn a specific practice to go within and heal certain core wounds. And we can also sometimes have some meditations in the session, and some other really interesting things just that happen, because it's always, led by the divine, and it's always just the intention that we set, that basically whatever you need from the session is what you receive from the session. And then post that, I send you a detailed email, which is curated also for the specific, conversations we have. And this has a detailed and a lengthy list of certain kinds of inner work that you can look into going forward. And this is specific to you. This is what I feel is specific for you and will help you. And this is the 3-part session overall. So, you have something to take away as well. And remember that throughout this, the anonymity of, you and your experiences is absolutely maintained. You can completely trust me. There is just nothing there, that ever gets shared with anybody else or anything like that, or you don't have anything to be afraid of at all. All right, because I know that these journeys are sensitive, and what we are working on, of course, we have to respect each other's confidentiality and where we come from and who we are as people and all of that. So this is strictly extremely professionally done. So if you feel guided to book a one-on-one session with me, if these podcasts sort of resonate with you, then you can write to me. As you know, my email address is on the screen, imacompletelife@gmail.com, and I will give you more details about how this works. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that this gave you some insight about, receiving blocks, and maybe just look into this. So sending you lots of love. Take care.